there, welcome back. So this is a long-awaited jellyfish mould. Now, originally we did this as a private tuition session with the lovely Jules from Resin Jules. This is our version of it. So this is an alternative to what we did with the lovely Jules. So Wayne's doing the demo here. He's just showing you what he's going to use. The mould there came with the jellyfish kit. I don't know if there are any other kits left. You'd need to contact Jules and she'll advise you. But what Wayne's going to do is he's got some mica powders there and he's got some lovely glitter. And he's going to do our usual process. So sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Make sure you got something, maybe a few snacks, nice drink, something like that. This video is 24 minutes long, so in fact it's just over 24 minutes long, so it is a lengthy video, but we wanted to show you all the processes and steps. Some of them have been sped up a bit, like this one there where Wayne's applying this beautiful golden glow white mica powder by Arteza. Now this process, we ummed and ahed. We had a few discussions about what to do where and so on, what colours to use. Wayne was very much up for using some of the other mica powders or pigment powders that had come in with the kit. But yeah, I managed to persuade him to do something different. We did use the blue pigment powder that came in the kit, and we also used some other which came from Temu, and this obviously, as I said, which is from Arteza. Now this colour is from Temu. As usual, everything we've used in this video today will be linked in the description box below. Now we've applied the golden glow mica powder. Can you see how that's just picking up on the detail in the moulds of the jellyfish's sort of bit down from his body? I don't know what you'd call that. Looks a little bit like a swirly skirt thing to me. That's obviously not the correct anatomical term for the jellyfish. And then obviously it's long sort of tentacles, I think it is, isn't it, that jellyfish have. So Wayne's going in now with some beautiful blue mica powder, just again highlighting some of the parts of the tentacles of the jellyfish. Look at that, the way it's catching the light. Really looks good. The mould itself is very, very sturdy. He's just doing a little bit of cleanup there. It's very, very sturdy. It's made from exceptionally good silicone. It's got the grid pattern across the head part, the round bit at the top. I don't know if you can see that through the mould. So it's nice and sturdy, keeps it nice and sturdy and rigid, keeps its shape whilst the resin is curing. Now, there's nothing to say that you couldn't also use an eco resin, so Jesmonite, your eco resin from Elichem, the eco resin. I think Let's Resin do one as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know, surprise, surprise, Hobbycraft here in the UK actually do a version of an eco flow, which is the equivalent of, it's like a mix between a craft concrete and plaster based product. So there we go. Right, look at that blue. So he's just working still on applying the mica powder. Now you've probably seen us do this a lot of times in previous videos, where all we're doing is using a dry bristled paintbrush, dipping it into the little pot of magic mica powder there, beautiful vivid blue, and then just dusting it over the mould. There we go. And there we are. A little bit more happening there. Now, as I said, this bit has been sped up because, take your time when you're doing this process. Make sure that you're wearing a mask if you want to wear a mask, that you're wearing gloves, and that you're working in a well-ventilated area. Now, that's what I would advise if you are me. Also that you're wearing old clothes, and an apron's always a good shout as well. Wayne is fine with mica powders. He's not allergic to them, so that's why he's not wearing his gloves. He tends to wear the black nitrile gloves, and if you see purple or violet or mauve coloured ones, then that's me. I also wear, just for protecting and for comfort reasons, a pair of white cotton gloves underneath the nitrile ones. Some people do also, if they want to, if they're concerned, they apply, I think it's Daniel Cooper. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. Sorry, Daniel. I have heard it mentioned that he applies Vaseline to his hands and then puts double pair of gloves on. If that is something that you will feel happy doing, then do that. As soon as my gloves get to the point where they're either covered in too much mica powder or they've got resin on them and I'm not comfortable wearing them and working with them, I remove them carefully, put them straight into the bin, and I replace them with a fresh pair of gloves. Anyway, having said all that now, Wayne, I think, is almost done. He is using the blue pigment powder there in that lovely holographic pink foil bag, which came with the jellyfish kit. If you haven't seen the unboxing video of that kit, why not go back to our playlist and have a look? There's such a lot in the kit. I mean, this mould is huge. It's big. It is meant as a wall decoration. It came with the special, they're almost like sticky Velcro strips to put them up on the wall. Or you could actually buy a box frame and put this in a box frame and put that on the wall, or put it just in an open frame as well. You could add some shelves for decoration. Completely up to you. It's beautiful. And actually, another thing you could do is you could put some little string lights. Have you seen the string lights that I mean? They're very fine ones. You could put some battery operated string lights in it too, up in the head parts, the round part, and going down into the skirt bit there underneath the head and down into the tentacles. That would look stunning. Great night light in a kid's room. Yeah, so Wayne's just also using now the glitter that came in the kit. It's beautiful. He's decided to apply it just off of the little mini popsicle or stir stick there. Just flick it into the top bit. Now, what is he going to do next? He's still going. Now this is some white, I call this the magic glitter. It's not called magic glitter, that's not its official name. We got it from The Range, which is a retail outlet here in the UK. I mean, but I expect you could get something similar from any of your local craft places. I think is it Hobby Lobby in America, or online if you search online through Amazon. But this, it looks white in the container, as you can probably see, and that. But if you then put it in resin, it's like it's dissolving. It's odd. It's like it's dissolving. But what it's actually doing is it's just dispersing, and it creates a little pop of a sparkle every now and then. Now, I didn't know Wayne was going to do this, but it's really good and quite a nice little change to the kind of jellyfish which you're going to see, I believe, towards the end of the video, the one that we did with Jules. Now what he's got there, he's got some UV resin and a little UV torch. He's putting little drops of the resin onto the surface of the head part of the mould, and then he's immediately curing those drops, so creating like a little polka dot pattern. So I thought this was quite the ingenious touch, because I didn't know he was going to do this. So this was a complete surprise to me as well. We hoped it was going to work. We weren't sure whether or not it was going to leave a mark on the mould, because I know on some cheaper moulds, if you do this kind of effect, it can leave a mark on the mould. It doesn't come off in anything else you would do. You know, it wouldn't appear in anything else that you do in future projects, but it does leave a mark on some moulds, but it hasn't on this, which is good. But this is this is not one of the cheap moulds. This is a more considered purchase. For the life of me, I can't remember where the mould came from. Oh, it did say in the kit when we got it. My apologies. Done quite a few videos since that unboxing. The class that we had itself was for 2 nights. It was an hour, just over an hour each night. It was us and about, I think it was 6 other crafters, all using resin, all following Jules' very straightforward practical instructions. We did it over Teams. I think it was like the equivalent of Teams, where we could see one another and we could see what each other were doing. We could follow along with Jules. She was excellent tutorial. very easy to follow, very straightforward. And it was really nice to meet other people as well. So there we go. Right. So can you see what he's doing? I think what he's done here is he's applied some of the blue mica already to those little drops. Can you see those little drops he did with the UV resin? Now he's using the white with that golden glow. Oh, look at that golden sheen there, just picking up. This bit obviously has been sped up. Wayne took a lot more time over this, but if we didn't speed up some of the clips, you'd be sat here for a good hour watching this. So there we go. He's going, I don't know if he's going for like a bit like, it's almost like an ombre, maybe not. But yeah, so he's just applying the golden glow in there. It looks like he's also applying some to that little frilly skirt bit underneath the head of the jellyfish and also to the tentacles. And here we go, we've changed colour again. So it looks like we've gone back to the blue, but I'm not sure, I'm afraid. Sorry, I think this might be the blue that we got with a little, of mica powder from Temu, not the one from Jules. And he's just brushing over it. I think what he's trying to do here, he's trying to blend it into the golden glow. Yeah, so trying to create a little bit like an ombre, just going over those little, lovely little UV resin dots. Bit more blue, making that a little bit more blue, just blending. It's literally like if you were using colouring pencils and you're trying to do shading and blending one colour into the next, so sort of white into yellow, into orange, into pink, into red, into purple and so on. Right, so he's mixed up some resin. Now the resin we bought ourselves to use originally when we did the tutorial, and we're using mould resin. That's MOLD, mould resin, and it's really, really good to use. And this, we're just using up what we had left over. So this is, in total, it uses 440 millilitres. I'm afraid I'm not sure what that is in ounces, in the whole of this mould. Wayne has mixed up, I think, all shy, I reckon he's mixed up a good, probably, about, I'm not sure, I can't read the calibrated cup, about a 300 ml, I reckon, here. Or he may have done 220, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, he's mixed in some of the golden glow mica powder, as you can see it, as it's catching the light in the calibrated cup that he's used there. We did get a couple of calibrated cups in with the kit itself, which was, it was really, really good. As I said, if you've not checked out the unboxing, go back and look in our playlist and check out the unboxing. Don't forget, everyone, give us a thumbs up. Comment on what colours you would use to make this wonderful jellyfish wall art piece. And, why not check out Resin Jules? She is mainly on Instagram. She does have some videos on YouTube, posts regularly, has lives, has what they call glitter scoops. Oh my God, can't wait for the next one of those. And yeah, very exciting. I always find it intriguing to watch other artists when they do their work. You can pick up hints and tips and things. But obviously, if you do use any of their suggestions or copy their work, then do credit them in your description box if you then post your own video. Right. I was just scraping the last little bit out of there. Mould resin was lovely, really, really lovely to use as a resin. As you know, we normally use T-Expert. We've also used Estoyo resin in the past. We have, what other ones have we used? Good Lord. We've used Let's resin, and in fact currently we have just used up the last of our T-Expert resin, so we have moved over to using Let's resin, and it's same as mould, same as Estoyo. It's all a one, and T-Expert, it's all a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. Now he put that to one side. let that cure overnight. You must let it cure. Don't immediately go and make up some more resin and pour it in. You will not get the effect that we got here. So the mould is currently curing and has cured. So this is 24 hours later. He's mixed up another 220 mils of the mould resin. I think that's all the mould resin gone now, which is a shame. And he's added in some of that lovely pigment powder, the blue pigment powder that came in the kit. Look at how vibrant that is. So just carefully wiping off the stir stick. And hardly any bubbles in this. That's the other thing we notice. There's hardly any bubbles at all. Now, we do tend to mix our resin. It's usually slowly and carefully when we're mixing the hardener and the resin together, and for at least 5 minutes. Scraping around the edge of the calibrated cup across the bottom, and then not forgetting to also scrape it off the sides of that lovely stir stick. There we go. Fantastic. Now, if you're happy with that and you're happy with that colour, then we can progress on to the next thing. What's he going to do? No, he isn't happy. There you go. He is adding some more. Now, he's just popped that onto the top. Now, the method we were shown by Jules is then just to sort of spread out the pigment powder across the surface of the resin and out to the sides. But I mean, that's fine, but what Wayne's doing here is also fine, as long as it's really thoroughly mixed in. It's not streaks, you can't see any little clumps of powder either. And then once you're happy with that, then you know you are all good, set to go. And as you can see here, you've probably noticed Wayne's put his black nitrile gloves on because he is mixing and using the epoxy resin. So just stirring it up a wee bit more now. There we go. See, it has got a few little clumps in there, but this is as a backing to the resin that he's already put in. So it's not going to show all the way through. So if he's happy with this, he will then move on. So here we go. This is at least a day later. As you can see, it's cured. And he's now pouring in this lovely blue. Now see how much darker it looks in that calibrated cup compared to what it looks like in this mould as he's pouring it. It's a paler blue. So you've got, I mean, it reminds me of Greece. I have to say, I'm sorry. The Mediterranean, holidays out in Greece. That feels like, well, it was years and years ago, but yeah, with the blue painted roofs of some of the buildings of the houses and the little churches and chapels out there. It's lovely. And of course, blue and white being the national colours on the flag of Greece and the Greek islands. Have you been to any of the Greek islands? Why not let us know which ones you've been to? Does this colour remind you of the Mediterranean Sea? It certainly does me. Certainly does. So there we go. He's just slowly, steady pouring the resin out of the cup into the mould, and it's just staying on the surface, and he's going carefully out to the edges of those tentacles, up to the edges of the mould, and he will fill it all the way to the top, so it's level with the top of the edge of the mould there. Just carefully pouring it out, making sure he's pouring it as evenly as possible, trying not to encourage any more bubbles to be in the resin. But as you can see, I mean, there's probably a few in there, but not too many. And he will spritz this with some isopropyl alcohol just to disperse any surface bubbles. And then we do tend to babysit our projects for a good couple of hours. So every 15-20 minutes or so, just popping back in, checking on it, getting rid of any bubbles that might have come to the surface or might have been stuck to the edge of the mould. Spritzing it again with some isopropyl alcohol if that's the way that you like to get rid of surface bubbles. If you're going to use isopropyl alcohol to get rid of surface bubbles, do not then use any form of heat to do the same job. It will catch fire. It will catch fire. And obviously we don't want that to happen. Don't put yourself in danger when doing it. So you either use heat, and that's usually from a long-necked lighter. That's the safest if you don't feel happy using a torch, because don't forget, you're not using the flame, you're only using the heat that it produces. So you can use that, or you can do what we do. Here we go. We've got it in an atomizer, and we're just giving it a spritz of some isopropyl alcohol. Now, Wayne has got some resin left over. And here we go. He has made, you can probably see it on the left-hand side, some other things that he made. Look at those, with the leftover resin. Because, like we said before, we're going to keep some of the clips in. I thought he'd got a clip of where he was pouring it into these things. Maybe not then. So he's just showing you the demold here. Now, these were still quite soft, so he's doing his best, bless. He is doing his best to try and pull the mould away from the project, run the project away from the mould, because otherwise it can become really misshapen. You might tear it. Of course, the other thing, the logical thing to do would have been to left it for a few more hours, maybe another 12 hours or so, let it set up completely firm. But Wayne is just as impatient as I am when it comes to looking at how things, have they worked? What do they look like? You know. So forgive us that, but when you do yours, try and be more impatient, more patient than us. And of course, wear gloves again if you want to, but look at that. Beautiful blue, almost looks like glass. Lovely, that. And here is the other one. This one looks a bit paler. It's not, but it does look. So look, you can see he's not the only one that struggles with moulds trying to remove them. Did stop the camera briefly just to have a little bit of more of a fiddle with the mould, and then obviously started recording again once he'd managed to ease the side of the mould away from this lovely koi carp fish. There we go. And there we are. Look at that. See, that one does look paler. I don't know if it's just the light or not, but that is stunning. Now, that is the first time I've used the stunning word. Now, here we go. A little skull. We haven't made any skulls for ages. Now, what I'd forgotten, Wayne hadn't, but I had, was there was already some creamy coloured resin in the bottom of this one anyway, that I'd used from a previous project. So he just topped it up with the rest of the blue. Let's see how this turns out. So he's struggling a bit here still. As I said, could really have done with probably having this another 12 hours or so just to firm up more. But there we go. It's our little friend. I quite like that. I quite like the two colours. I like the way that it's only really on the top, and little bits maybe on his cheekbones and a little bit on his jaw. Oh, he's got a little bit like a one-sided moustache. But yeah, the skulls and the fish make lovely, ideal things for key rings, bookmarks, so on, you know. So this is a good day later. It's fully cured, and as you can see, it's peeling away from this. The mould is peeling away from the piece itself really easily. There you go. Just gradually peeling it away. Nice clean mould, still very, very shiny, which is great. Now, a few little tidy up bits to do just around some of the edges there of the tentacles. I was just showing you now there as a close-up. And that, I mean, that can be done with a little pair of scissors. And look at that. Wow. I love the effect of the little polka dots at the top. I think they're great. And can you see the golden glow in the white mica? Little bits of the glitter there as well. Just showing up very subtle indeed. I love that. I think that looks really, really good and is quite different from the one that we did with Jules. So here is the finished piece that we did. Yeah, looking excellent, that is. Excellent. Beautiful. There we are. There's our jellyfish. And here is the one that we made in our tutorial with Jules from Resin Jules. So it's a deeper, darker blue. And actually what you can't see here is when the light hits, so when it moves and you turn it, it's got that almost like shimmer and holographic colour change to it. So it's blues, then it's pinks, then it's purples, and there's lots of glitter in it and lots of that lovely holographic sort of string-like stuff in the tentacles. So this is the final shot. This is the one that we did. This was our version of it. Lovely, with the little polka dots made with the UV resin. Beautiful, beautiful shades of mica powders, the blue from the kit itself, the blue from Temu, the golden glow from Arteza, and the lovely, lovely mould resin. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, and we'll see you again in a few days with another one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.